Hey guys, let's go ahead and talk about this Natasha Denona palette that has been sitting on my desk for a little while, and finally I am getting to play with it. I ordered it directly from the Natasha Denona website, and I actually paid without using any of my peers' discounts because they had a little glitch going on, but I was still going to get it no matter what. And of course it got here in perfect timing for me to be able to do this video in time for you guys, but it has been hectic. Okay, finally we are going to be digging into the Natasha Denona palette. Well, not digging in, okay, but we are going to be using the Natasha Denona Roxa palette. So here we have the absolutely beautiful packaging. So it has like those waves, just like the new golden palette from Natasha Denona, right? It's the same thing, but here I am opening it for the first time, and oh my goodness, okay, everything is intact because Natasha Denona just packs everything so nicely. Whenever they send a package to you, it's definitely going to come in one piece, like 99% of the time, because they package it so well. So I am super excited to be using this color story for you guys today. Let's go ahead and get into the looks of this video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much. If you are a returning subscriber, I really appreciate you being here again. But before we get into the looks and all of that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you guys have not already, you can also like and comment down below, because you guys know that that helps me out so much. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, I'm actually liking this color story way more than what I thought that I was going to like. By swatching it, it's just, it gives me ideas. Okay, it makes me excited. Let's go ahead and start with the Palettes shade in the palette, which is this one right here, and that is Phoebe. Just going to add it to my brow bone. All right, now I'm going to take Sweet Pea, which is this one right here, and with a Refer 16 brush, I'm going to add that to my crease. So we do have a new formula, which is the Silky Mattes. So I'm going to go back to Phoebe, just taking a little bit of that, just so we can blend the edges. I'm going to be using my Sigma switch to clean the brushes. And I'm cleaning off the Refer 16 brush, and I'm going to take the shade in Velour. I'm just going to add that a little bit lower than the previous shade and just bring it inside the crease. Cleaning off my brush and going back to Sweet Pea. I'm just going to go back and forth with Velour and Sweet Pea until I am satisfied with the blending, with how they are actually translating on the eyes, the depth of it. So I do feel like Velour, it's a little bit deeper, but not too much of a difference between these two colors on the eyes, just because they are so close to one another. It just makes it so much easier to blend, just because the shades are so similar to one another that the transition is just seamless. I'm going to take the shade in Jacaranda, which is the purpley shade, and this one is the Refer 01 brush. Just going to tap it in the place where I want this color. So I'm going to try to add a little bit of this shade on the lash line, just like that, just by tapping it, and in the outer corner. Cleaning off the brush so we can blend it into the other shades that we do have on our lid already. I'm going to go back with a little bit more. I'm going to add that to the outer corner of my lower lashes, just halfway. Going back to the first brush, again using Velour and Sweet Pea just to blend the edges. With a smaller brush like this one, this is the Refer 13 brush, I'm going to take the shade in Eclipse just to deepen out the outer corner. So really staying in the outer corner of my lower lashes as well as on the lid. And of course going back with the previous shades, the previous brushes, just to blend the edges, to make sure that everything is just nice and blended, diffused, and the shades are just marrying to one another very nicely. So I'm going to take this shade right here with my fingers, and that one is in the shade Bolt. Just gonna press it on my eyelid, right on the center, just connecting it with the shades that we have in the outer corner, as well as just going in all the way to the inner corner of my eye, just staying on the lid. It has so much sparkles, like it has a little bit of silver, pink sparkles, very nice. And it's adhering to my eyelid beautifully without any glitter glue. I just use my primer and that is it. I love that. Okay, I think that this is a really beautiful shade. I really like this shade. Like really like it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to go back to the Refer 13 brush in the purple shade. Just going to smoke out my lower lashes a little bit. Going to clean it, and I'm going to take the shade in Velour just to blend those shades on the bottom lashes. Just reapplying the darker shades to make sure that we don't lose the intensity of that in the outer corner. I'm going to take the Rougher 03 brush in the shade in Stargirl to highlight my inner corners. Also just bring it down to my lower lashes. Thought I was going to be a little bit more on the silver side, but it does have a little bit more of a pink undertone. So I'm just going to bring it up and around like I do all the time. Using a black liner from Natasha Denona, I'm going to tightline. I'm going to use the liner in Burgundy from Natasha Denona just to add it to my waterline. All right, I feel like that looks much better, but you can definitely tweak this look to your liking. So I am going to curl my lashes at mascara and show you the final look for this eye. So we are back with this undone face like always because we have to work on this eye. I went ahead and also clean my brushes, just dust them off, take all the pigment out so we can go ahead and work on a different look. So taking the shade in Phoebe with the Refer 16 brush, I'm just going to dust it off on my brow bone again. And I'm going to take the shade in Heather and I'm going to add that to the outer corner of my crease and blending it in a little bit. And so once I have no pigment on my brush, I'm going to start blending it out and blending it up. Going back to the shade in Phoebe so I can help us blend it out. Taking Heather again, just on the very tip of the brush and stand it out. All right, so now taking the Refer 01 brush in Cerise, I don't know. I'm going to place it down on my outer corner, not going so high up. Meeting with Heather, going back with Heather so we can blend it out. So Heather has a little bit more of the orangey like brick color versus the shade in Cerise actually has a little bit more red. I'm going to take a little bit more of the Cerise shade. Cerise. Building up that shade to the intensity that you like. So I'm going back to the Refer 13 brush and taking Eclipse. And I'm going to really press it in the outer corner. Adding a little bit of this shade on the lash line, just halfway, and working it up so it can blend with Cerise and also Heather. Bringing it in on the crease. Very, very gentle. Barely touching it. Taking Eclipse with the Refer 13 brush, I'm going to add it to my outer corner. Just going halfway in. Cleaning the brush off, and I'm going to take now the shade in Cerise just to blend it out. So you can see that there is a difference between the shade in Heather and Cerise right here on the lid. It just feathers it in so nicely. They do blend really nice to each other. So I'm going to take Blink with my finger and I'm going to add it to my eyelid, just meeting with the shades that we do have in the outer corner. And I'm going to stay a little bit in the center, not going all the way in, just so we can add a different shade. Okay, that is beautiful. All right, now using the Rougher 28 brush in this shade right here in Further, and I'm going to use that in the inner part of my eyelid and meeting with the Blink shade. On the eyes, Blink and Further look so much alike. It's insane. You can see that there is a difference here on my hands, but on the eyes, there is really not a huge difference at all. I thought that Further was going to be a little bit brighter. Like you can actually see that it's a little bit lighter in shade and it's going to feather into Blink, but it doesn't really look like that. I feel like I just put one shade all over my eyelid, which I didn't. So I don't know, just saying, just pointing out certain things that I am noticing. So I am going to take the shade in Stargirl with the Refer 03 brush again, and this one gave me a little bit more of a pink undertone, which it really is super close to now these shades right here. So let me just see if it actually like shows up a little bit different. Okay, so this one, it's a little bit brighter, but it's still much a pink shade. So I'm just going to bring it around my lower lashes to meet with the shades that I do have on my lower lashes and wrapping it around the upper part of my eyelid to meet with the other shades. Clean up and shape things up a little bit. I'm also going to curl my lashes at mascara and show you the final look for this eye. I don't think the camera is going to capture how beautiful these shades are on the eyes. Like the sparkle that it actually has on the eyes are just so beautiful. Just using a little bit of a flash for lighting. I don't know if you're going to be able to see anything. You definitely have to trust the process while you're creating a look, and I absolutely have to do that every single time I'm creating a look, just because when you do your foundation, you put your lipstick on, your blush, that's when the look really starts coming together. And let me tell you, I am obsessed with both of these looks right here. Like, I love this cool tone on purple eye, and this one right here, which is more on the rosiness. Just the sparkle is so stunning. So let me go ahead and wash this off and just create a super simple look for you guys, and then I'm going to get going because I do want to do a little Sephora shopping. So let me go ahead and take everything off, and I'll see you guys with my super bare face so we can start with the third and final look. So I have now used the shade in Dixie, Regal, and this one right here in Orchid, which is this one. So let's go ahead and create a look using these shades right here. So let's go ahead and take the shade in Orchid, and I'm going to add this to my outer corner, and I'm using the What's Up Beauty R102 brush. I'm just going to press it down on the outer corner and start blending it out. I'm also going to add a little bit of this shade on my lash line halfway from the outer corner in, just really creating my shape. Not going to stand it out too much. I'm going to make things a little bit more rounded, just building up the intensity of the shade to my liking. I'm going to clean off the brush. I'm going to start blending things out. I'm going to add a little bit of this shade also on my lower lashes halfway. So cleaning off the brush, and I'm going to take this shade Sweet Pea just so I can help it blend out a little bit better, and just bringing Sweet Pea a little bit on the crease. Going back with Orchid, just intensifying that color a little bit more. With the same brush, I cleaned it off. I'm going to take the shade in Concord, and I'm going to use that to deepen out the outer corner. It does have a little bit of sparkles, so I'm going to just press it down, just bringing it towards Orchid so those two can really blend to each other. And I'm doing little tapping motions to blend those two out. With my finger, I'm going to take Regal, just going to press it down all over my eyelid. And this shade is really not that special. I mean, it does have a little nice, beautiful, like champagne-y rosiness kind of a tone to it, which it could definitely be used for like an everyday kind of shade. Nothing too sparkly. It's really nice. It is boring for sure, but it is nice. So I'm just going to blend it into the other shades that we do have on our lid. And because the purple shade does have a little bit of sparkle, it's bringing a little bit of sparkle in, but this shade really doesn't have any sparkle. It's more of a satin finish. Going to go back to this brush right here and the purple shade. Again, just tapping those two together where they meet so they can blend. So now for the shade that I have been waiting to use, which is Dixie, I am going to use the R110 brush from What's Up Beauty, and I'm going to take a little bit of this shade on my brush. I'm just going to drizzle that right where those two meet. You know what? Let me just use my finger. I think it's going to show up a little bit better. It does have like a little bit of a bluish lilac-y kind of shade. So I'm just going to press it down right on the center. Not so thin in formula. It's a little bit more chunky. It is definitely emphasizing the texture that I do have on my eyelids, but it is such a beautiful shade. So I'm just using my finger to really melt it into the eyes and just staying right in the center again where those two shades meet. Just going back with Regal, can place that back and blend it into the new shade that we have in the center. I really thought that this shade was going to be like a wow factor for me, but it's not. Like it's nice, it's beautiful, but it's not giving me that wow factor, which I'm a little sad about it. But I'm going to tie line using the Natasha Denona Burgundy shade, and I'm also going to add it to my waterline. I'm going to take Orchid in a super tiny brush, just going to run it on my lower lashes again, just connecting everything in the outer corner. I'm going to take Regal, and I'm also going to add it to the inner part of my lower lashes, so pretty much doing the same thing that I did on my lid. All right, now taking the shade in Dixie, I'm just going to add it to the very middle of my lower lashes. It's really not showing up on my lower lashes, but anyways, I am going to now curl my lashes, add mascara, and show you the final look. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below which one was your favorite, 1 or 2 or 3. I'm super happy that I was able to do this video for you guys, just in case you guys picked up this palette, you guys wanted to have some ideas of what to do with it, some inspiration. And for this look right here, I actually tried to do a little bit more of a softer look, something that I would wear like to go out on a date with my husband. The other two are more dramatic. That is definitely more when I am going out with my sisters, or you know, just like a girls night out and I actually want to play with makeup. Those are the looks that I'll be wearing, but this one is a little bit, again, more softer, more chill. But let's go ahead and now talk about this palette, the new formula, and my first impressions when it comes to this palette. Do you need this palette? Absolutely not. You do not need this palette. You can recreate any of the looks that I created with what you already have in your collection, but if you love Natasha Denona like I do, then this palette is definitely a great one to pick up and to have in your collection. I love Natasha Denona's formula so much, and these silky mattes are really nice and beautiful, super easy to blend, very little, very little fallout. You do have to, you know, go in a couple of times to actually build the intensity of the eyeshadows, which is pretty reminiscent to the cream to matte formula that she has already. So I don't know what really is the difference. I mean, it doesn't feel wet when I was actually swatching them, which is nice because again, it is a different formula. I absolutely love the fact that she did this formula thinking of the pigmentations of these shades, because they are really hard to make. It could be really patchy, super hard to blend, but these definitely blended like a dream. So for that reason and that reason alone, she did an amazing job. You still have to go in a couple of times in the pan to build the intensity of the eyeshadow. So if you don't mind that, then this palette is definitely for you. The color story is just absolutely gorgeous, really nice and beautiful. The sparkle shades are really beautiful. This one right here, which is the shade in Dixie, again, I'm just not super wow by it. I think that I like the other shades a little bit better. Like the shade in Further is just so nice and glimmery, adding a little bit on top of that. I mean, that one has a little bit more glitter to it, which I enjoy, a really nice sparkly shade on my eyelids. So that is the reason why like Dixie kind of disappointed me, but I was able to find it here. I was able to be satisfied with the glittery, shimmery, sparkly shades from using this palette right here. Again, Dixie is the one that I just, you know, like I waited for you. Like I waited to use you last. What happened there, Dixie? But anyways, that is it for this video, my friends. I hope that it was helpful to you guys. I hope that you guys enjoy the looks. Again, let me know in the comment section down below which one was your favorite look. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your love, your time, and support. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, and I will see you next time.